And we are back with the fifth and the final segment of the GSMC Sports Podcast presented by the GSMC Sports Network. And in this fifth segment, we are going to talk about the NBA games that happened on Sunday and as well as the games that happened yesterday, because it's been a while since I've done one of these recaps, so I might as well go ahead and do it in this fifth segment. So might as well start off with the big one. The Lakers, they lost to the Houston Rockets. Austin Reeves had 21 and 10. Anthony Davis had 30 and 13. LeBron James, now at 40 years old, had 21, 13 and 9, showing zero signs of regression. And of course, because, that's just the power of LeBron. It wasn't enough to beat Houston, however, with Amen Thompson scoring 23 points and recording 16 rebounds. Jalen Green having a ridiculous 33-point game. And, Sengun was really quiet in this one, dropping only 14 points. But still, the fact that they were able to win in this game, I think, is rather surprising, considering how this team shot 35% from 3 compared to the Lakers shooting 44% from 3. So, not ideal for the Lakers at all. Now, the Kings, they ended up surprising the Golden State Warriors and beating them. The Warriors, they had 26 points, not 26 points, geez. Steph Curry had 26 points, but that was really all of the scoring that Golden State had, aside from Andrew Wiggins, who dropped 18 points, but again, that's not going to be enough for the Golden State Warriors to win a game whatsoever. The team as a whole shot 34% from the field, and this is the first solid win for the Kings. DeRozan had 12 points because, of course. Sabonis had 22 and 13. And Malik Monk had 26 and 12. This was also without De'Aaron Fox in this game, who is another player that's been emerging in trade talks, by the way. But still, this just shows that the Warriors, they're nowhere near as good of a team as people thought they were going to be in the beginning of the season. I saw this coming. Not sure if you guys saw this coming. The Thunder, they ended up beating the Boston Celtics, and this is without Chet Holmgren. I think this really should put them in the favorites to win the Western Conference conversations if they weren't in them already, because this team is dominating, and they're doing it without Chet Holmgren. And for those of you guys who thought Chet Holmgren should have been the Rookie of the Year and thought that he was robbed by Victor, this is exactly why he wasn't robbed. You get rid of Chet Holmgren, OKC is still a competent team. And the reason why they were such a competent team and the reason why they had such a good team record last year was because of Shai Gilgeous-Alexander. No one else. Chet helped, but Shai Gilgeous was the main piece of all that. Now, the Pelicans, they ended up beating the Wizards because the Wizards are bad, and there was no Jordan Poole in this game. Alexander Czar had 18 and 11. Kyle Kuzma had 28. And on the Pelicans side, CJ McCollum, he's back. He had 50 points the other day, but in this one he had 25. DeJounte Murray dropped the triple-double with 14, 10, and 12. And I don't think the Pelicans are going to be able to get on the right track, especially with their lack of Zion Williamson. But, again, we'll have to see how the rest of the season goes. The Cavs, they beat the Hornets because, of course, they did. They won 115 to 105. Darius Garland had 25. Donovan Mitchell had 19. Jared Allen had 19 and 11. And on the Hornets side, LaMelo Ball had 24 points, 3 rebounds, 4 assists. And also, probably the most famous news in the basketball world right now is the fact that LaMelo Ball's brother, LiAngelo, is one of the hottest rappers out there right now. Just listen to his song, Tweakin', and everyone, I'm telling you, everybody in the league is talking about it. Lonzo's talking about it as well. Lonzo actually worked on the lyrics, by the way, for that song. And LaMelo was working on the lyrics for that. LaMelo was not working on the lyrics, but LaMelo was repping it, and everybody was repping that song for for majority of the weekend and the last few days. So that's really the funniest thing that I learned. And that song is not even that bad, honestly. I'm sure if you guys have been following Big Baller Brand and their brothers for a while, you know that they have a little bit of rapping on the side. Lonzo was rapping a little bit. And a lot of people, when he was on the Lakers, a lot of people were saying Lonzo should just quit and become a full-time rapper because this NBA stuff isn't working out. But that being said, Still, go ahead and check out the song. I think it's pretty solid. Let's see. The Utah Jazz, they beat the Orlando Magic because the Orlando Magic don't have Franz Wagner or Paolo Banchero, so no real surprises there. Not going to talk about that game that much. Pacers, they seem to be winning again. They won 113-99 against the Brooklyn Nets, but again, it's the Brooklyn Nets, so not really all that impressive. Halliburton had 23 points, Benedict Mathurin had 30, and Siakam had 19. The Magic, they ended up beating the Knicks after losing to the Jazz, but a big reason why I think they ended up beating the Knicks was because the Knicks are lacking in Karl-Anthony Towns because he is hurt. So, not sure how long he's going to be out for, but hopefully not very long. He's lucky that All-Star break is going to come up, is going to be around the corner, so he'll have time if it is a major injury. But with that being said, Bridges had 24, Josh Hart had 15 and 14, Brunson had 24, and the rest were unable to produce. They really need Karl-Anthony Towns. Cole Anthony for the Magic had 24, Caldwell Pope had 15, and keep in mind this is without Paolo Banchero and Franz Wagner, so this Magic team is much better than what I thought they were. The Grizzlies, they ended up beating the Dallas Mavericks, and Jaren Jackson Jr. had 35. No Ja Morant in this game. Scottie Pippen Jr., 18 points. Jalen Wells, 17 and 11. And on the Dallas Mavericks side, there was no Luka Doncic, and there was no Kyrie Irving. Klay Thompson was the last line of defense, and what does he do? He drops 15 points, goes 5 for 16, and 3 for 8 from 3. I think it is clear now, Klay Thompson is washed. Now, Phoenix, they ended up beating the 76ers, because of course they did. 76ers are bad, they're not good, and they don't have Joel Embiid in this game. Maxey had 31 and 10, but it was all for nothing. Paul George had only 13 points, PG-13, ladies and gentlemen. 9 rebounds, and 5 assists. Again, just pitiful performance from Paul George. Really bad performance overall for Paul George. Only 16 points per game. He has been descending rapidly. Kelly Oubre Jr. was the only other solid player aside from Maxey, where he ended with 26 points and 9 for 18 from the field. Devin Booker did not play well in this game. 10 points, 10 assists. Kevin Durant played solid, 23 points, and Bradley Beal surprisingly played better than both of those guys coming off the bench with 25 points. So yeah, Pistons, they ended up beating the Portland Trailblazers, but again, it's the Blazers, so not all that impressive. Cade Cunningham had 32 points, 9 assists, and 6 rebounds. Very impressive. Tobias Harris, who is having a much better season than Paul George, by the way, 17 points. Tim Hardaway Jr., 26 points. And on the Trailblazer side, Fernie Simmons had 36 points. So, pretty solid stuff. Bucks, they beat the Raptors. Not going to talk about that because the Raptors are tanking. The Timberwolves, they beat the Clippers. What to say about this game? Anthony Edwards was a dog. 37 points, 8 assists, 7 rebounds. Rudy Gobert put up a pitiful 8 points, but 18 rebounds, so I guess. But this game was all Anthony Edwards. This game, that was literally it. James Harden had 22, 8, and 8. Norman Powell had 25. But again, that just wasn't enough for Anthony Edwards, and they ended up winning by just 2 points. The Spurs, they ended up losing to the Bulls because the Bulls have the power of LiAngelo Ball's new song. Zach LaVine dropped 35 and 10. Also 8 assists. Kobe White had 23 points. Also, Lonzo Ball is back and better than ever. So happy to see him back. Vucevic had 24 points and 11 rebounds. And Lonzo, as I mentioned before, he's back, but still kind of meh with the scoring. 5 points, 4 rebounds, 2 assists. He did have 3 steals in 24 minutes. So again, pretty solid stuff for only playing 24 minutes. And on the Spurs side, Victor Wembanyama, 23 points, 14 rebounds, 4 assists, and 8 blocks. 8 blocks is ridiculous. And then finally, the Kings, they ended up beating the Miami Heat in overtime. And this was a DeMar DeRozan legacy game, I guess you could say. 30 points. He scored all of the points in overtime. And Sabonis ended with 21, 11, and 18. And again, this is without De'Aaron Fox. So maybe they might be interested in trading De'Aaron Fox, seeing how this team is playing without him. So not entirely sure how that's going to work. But that's it for the recap, and that's all I have for this show. So thank you so much for tuning in to the GSMC Sports Podcast presented by the GSMC Sports Network. Your support means a lot to us, so remember to subscribe to the show, leave a positive review. It really does make a difference. We invite you to follow us on Facebook, Twitter, TikTok, and Instagram for more content and updates. As usual, we love to hear what you guys have to say during the show, whether it's a hot take, burning question, something you're dying to share. We're all ears. If you want your comment or question to get noticed, I recommend using Super Chat. You click on the $ below the chat box. If that's not really your thing, then you can always use the link displayed below the ticker, gsmcpodcast.net, and send in your comments and or donations that way. Either or really helps the show. That's all that I have for today. Thank you so much for tuning in. I am your host, Nelson, and as always, take care.
Let's go. I wake up to a little bit of drool on my pillow, feel like it's gonna be a bad day. Yeah, I'm tired of shit, and the coffee ain't hit yet. Damn, ain't that great. I don't wanna go.